Hello, math learners! I'm back. In this topic, we'll discuss about geometry. When we say geometry, the word geometry was derived from two Greek words, geo and metron, which mean earth and measure, respectively. Geometry, just like any other mathematical system, is based on undefined terms and proven statements and theorems. That's geometry. Undefined terms in geometry. The three basic terms in geometry are points, lines, and planes. These are also referred to as the undefined terms in geometry. They are described in terms of their representation in real world. First one is points. Second, that will be lines. Third one, that will be planes. Let's tackle first points. When we say points, a location in space suggested the idea of a point. A point has no dimension. It has no dimension, no width, no length, and no thickness. It is represented by a dot, and it's denoted by capital letters like point A, B, and C, or any letters to represent a point. Some real-world objects, such as tip of a pen or a mole on a human body, suggest points. Those are examples of a point in real-life situation. Example, this is point A, and this is point B, and point C found in a plane. That's an example of a point. Now let's go to lines. What is a line? A line is a straight path, suggested the idea of a line. It must be straight to make it a line. A line consists of infinitely many points extending indefinitely in opposite directions, and it is represented by opposite arrows. It is named by any of its 2 points or by a lowercase letter. The edge of a paper or the edge of this figure is already called a line. A thread is already called a line. The horizon represent line. Those are example of a line. Now, example for this figure. As you can see in the figure, it has opposite arrows, right? And this line is called line M. These are the point A, point B. So it is called as line AB, or written as line AB or line BA. It's okay to interchange the letters. Let's go to its subsets of a line. Subsets of a line. Subsets of a line are subsets or parts of a line. So it means that it is part of a line. There are two kinds of subset of a line. First one, that will be the segment. When we say segment, it's a set of points on a line. It's a set of points on a line with two endpoints. So two endpoints. Example, line segment DE or DE. So from the point D to point E, it is already considered as segment DE. Another types of subsets, that will be ray. When we say ray, it's a set of points on a line with an endpoint and extends indefinitely on one direction. Let's have an example. As you can see in the figure, from point D going to point E, but it extends indefinitely one direction. So that is called as ray. So it is called as ray DE, or you can use a symbol for ray DE like this one. An arrow going to the right and with the capital letters DE. That is considered as ray. Let's go on to the third one. That will be planes. When we say plane, it is a flat surface. So, as you can see in this figure, it is already called as a plane because it is a flat surface such as in the idea of plane. Number two, a plane extends indefinitely in all directions. Yes, it could extend in any direction. It has no thickness, but it has the length and the width. It is usually represented by four-sided figure and can be named at least three non-collinear points by using single uppercase letter. The surface of the blackboard, the top of the table, and a sheet of paper are examples of plane. Those are real-world objects that suggest planes. Please take note of that. I will give you an example of a plane. As you can see in the first figure, that will be named as plane DEFG. So DEFG, or it is called, or it can be called as plane Q. For this figure, plane GHI, or you can call that plane T from here. Relationship between points, lines, and planes. For any two distinct points, there is exactly one line containing them. Okay. For any three distinct non-collinear points, there is exactly one plane containing them. Number three, take note of this one. If two distinct lines intersect, so two distinct lines intersect, like this one. Two distinct lines intersect, like this one. So from line GH and line IG. So their intersection is a point. So there's an intersection found here. There's an intersection found this one. Same here, intersection, and same also here. Number four, if two distinct planes intersect, their intersection is a line. So it is a line. If the two planes intersect, then it is a line. If a plane and a line which is not on the plane intersect, then their intersection is a line. Define terms. In geometry, there are also terms that are usually used. These terms are called the defined terms in geometry. If there's undefined, there's also defined terms. Example of a defined terms in geometry. First one, collinear points and non-collinear points. When we say collinear points, points contained on the same line. It is found in the same line. Not collinear points are points which are not on the same line. Example, as you can, if this will be our line MN, points found on the same line are points M and N. Therefore, it is collinear. Or both contained in L1, which is point M and N, are collinear points, while point P are non-collinear points because they do not lie on the same plane. Only point P, not considered point M. Coplanar points and lines. When you say coplanar points and lines, are points and lines that are contained on the same plane. Again, points and lines contained on the same plane. So we're dealing with points and lines. So example, as you can see in the figure, this will be all the points found on the plane, and this will be the lines found outside the plane. Therefore, points A, B, C, D are coplanar points since they are all contained in plane S. Line AB, line CD are coplanar lines since they are all contained in plane S. Am I understood? Let's go on to non-coplanar points. Non-coplanar points and lines are points and lines that are not contained on the same plane. As you can see in the figure, try to observe the figure. Example, points A and E are non-coplanar points since they are in two different planes. Line AB and line GF are non-coplanar lines. Parallel lines. Two lines are parallel if they are coplanar, they do not intersect, the distance between the corresponding points of the parallel lines is equal. According to this figure, as you can see, they don't intersect each other, right? They don't correspond to each other. Therefore, that line is a parallel line. So line 1 and line 2 is parallel to each other. So this will be the symbol of a parallel line. So this one. This will be the symbol of a parallel line. Okay, go on to perpendicular lines. What will be the symbol for perpendicular line? The symbol for perpendicular line is this one. So straight line, then another line. It's something looks like T. Two lines are perpendicular if they are intersecting. So the two lines intersect. This will be the intersection points of the two lines. They form right angles. If they are intersecting to each other, then they form a right angle. If the two lines are perpendicular to each other. So example with this figure. Line 3, line 4. So line 3 and line 4 perpendicular to each other and they intersect. So the intersection of the perpendicular line form a right angle. This will be the symbol for a right angle, a square, because a perfect square is always a right angle. Just take note of that. That will be a perpendicular lines. Those are perpendicular lines, line 3, line 4. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to answer the given formative assessment.